This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome everybody that has joined us tonight. I so appreciate that you are here. Tonight we're going to talk about the Rapid Disaster Assessment Plan and the initiative that Tooele County Emergency Management is excited to share that will help the neighborhoods be able to assess a neighborhood after a major disaster and be able to gather information needed to help in the neighborhoods. So with that information, it can be reported to emergency management too. It's called the Rapid Disaster Assessment Plan, and I'm going to kind of go through it really quick tonight, but if you have any questions about it, I've got a little longer video that will be on our YouTube channel. So in the email that I will send out with the RDAP number 2 document, it'll have the link to the YouTube channel. So if everybody could shut their cameras off so that we can just focus on the screen for right now. And and it's not advancing, so hold on. Why is it not? I'm sharing the screen. I don't know why it's not advancing. Hold on.
Recorded.
Why? Sorry, everyone. It was working before. Let me unshare my screen real quick. So Ron, can you shut your camera off just for a little bit so I can just focus on the screen?
Hello, everyone.
Whoops.
I'm grateful that you want to learn from.
That's why. Okay. Okay. Well, come on. So I'm going to just, like I said before, I'm going to do a quick overview of what.
Well, block captain programs are a great tool.
It
had many flaws.
Sound keeps coming on, and I don't know why. I thought I got all of them. So the previous block captain program had a few problems. It's still giving me issues.
It made it difficult for it to be maintained. It often used pre-assigned callings and required some pre-training and assignments. Often those assigned would either move or just unable to follow through. So now a new block captain had to be found. Sometimes the reporting procedures were difficult to maintain. And even if radios were used and could be advantageous often, became complicated because channels can be changed so easily. And initial setup was great, but it had to be maintained and revitalized, which, as I said before, RDAP is a tool. It can
so my sound, let me get out of this real quick. You're gonna have to just see my regular screen because it's giving me issues. So sorry. I just had this feeling that it was gonna give me some issues, and sure enough, it did. So I'm gonna blow it up somewhat. Whoops, too much. Okay. So as you know, the block captain program kind of had problems, but the Rapid Disaster Assessment Plan kind of goes off of the block captain because it has 10 to 12 houses, but it doesn't require calling or previous assignment or anything, and it can be implemented with spontaneous volunteers and managed by the first person at the designated meeting place, and does not require power, which is awesome because often we won't be able to have power. And it also has a pre-designated group gathering. So, whoops, wrong way. So it can be churches or clubhouses or schools or homes. Any buildings may be used. We were gonna use my home at in Stansbury, but since I moved, I think their plan is changed. So really the tool is the whole key. And the tool is basically a binder with some papers and a map. And that map is the key. So it's got all the forms for tracking volunteers, which is really important, especially in a major disaster, because the volunteer hours can be tracked for putting in toward helping match dollar amount from FEMA. So that's really helpful. And the maps that are subdivided in the neighborhood are in alphabet sections, and there's the assessments and all the information that you need to set up. And this is kind of a picture of it. And this is kind of a setup of the staging area. And this is one of the flow charts of how things are run. So this is just a little quick picture of people coming in, getting their assignment, and then they go off and do what the instructions tell them. So the alpha section folders have the instructions, the maps, the secondary sheets, the assessment forms, the flagging tape, and then pencils. And that is all included. And here is an example of the detail sheets that are in the binder. So really quickly, the first person shows up at the staging area, and they set up 3 tables, 1, 2, 3, and they set up all the information that's in the kit and put out the papers and the binder and the clipboards. Then the second person shows up, and that second person is in charge of the second table, and it will be the shift manager. Then the third person shows up and will be this third table, which is the green area. It's called the area information officer. And so those first 3 people are kind of in charge of the RDAP getting it going. Then the next people that show up are the volunteers, and they come to the first table and sign in, then go to the second table, and they get their assignment. And then when they get back, they come to the third table and they go through all the details of what they found at their rapid disaster assessment. And then that third table reports what they found to leadership. And there's yellow assessments, which are the ones that weren't home, and then the red assessments are the ones who need help. And that's where leadership will be able to go assess who can help, what major needs are there, and then report it to the higher up leadership and also to Tooele County Emergency Management. Because there will be some times that a neighborhood can't take care of something. So they need to be able to contact Tooele County Emergency Management, and they'll be able to send the right resources to help in your neighborhood. But until we know, we just don't know what resources to send. So that's why the rapid disaster assessment plan is so important. So what do you need to do to make it work for your neighborhood? The biggest thing is a map. So here's my ward in Idaho. And it, as you can see, it dots all the people that are members, but it doesn't put the lots, which rapid disaster assessment is all about the address. It doesn't matter who lives there. We are all brothers and sisters of the same God, and we want to take care of each other. So we want a map kind of like this. So you can start with your map that's like this, but we have a resource here in Tooele County, and Ashley Walker is going to be able to help you make your own map and then divide up your map into blocks. And that's where it all starts, is that map. And see, it's divided up into blocks, and then you can see here is the individual blocks. And that's the most important part, because that's where we send the volunteers out to assess. So later on, I'm gonna let Ashley, and hopefully she's on, I'm gonna let Ashley kind of explain what she is and what she's doing and how she will help you and how you can sign up to get help from her, because she's awesome. She's got the resource from our county. So also, I will be sending the forms, and this is an Excel spreadsheet that you can put the addresses in, and then it can merge into the forms. So you can totally handwrite everything, but it might help to do the merge, because you'll have a lot of different blocks. Like in this one, I think it goes up to Q. So that's a lot of numbers and addresses to keep track of. So this Excel spreadsheet is really helpful. So we're going to go through that next time, but I wanted to just give you guys an idea of what it is to expect for getting the RDAP ready. So see here, you can see I merged it into the address into the form. So that's really helpful, but you totally can handwrite it. I will send the blank forms to you and all the different things needed in it'll be on a Google Drive and a OneDrive, because sometimes the OneDrive wasn't working before. So I'm hoping that having it in a Google Drive too will help those people that can't access the OneDrive. I don't know why it didn't work, but it was not working for everybody. So I will have all of those forms and the link in the document that I send out. So the other things I need you to consider for your plan is your staging area and where you're going to store your kit. So you saw a picture of a church in there. That's a great place, because often churches, the neighborhood is around a church, but not always does that happen. In our Lighthouse ward, our church was really far away, and our bishop said, let's just have our staging areas right in our neighborhood so we don't have to go all the way to the church and then all the way back. Let's just keep it in our neighborhoods, and we'll just store it in people's backyards, which is totally fine. You just have to make sure it's okay with the person. And if it's like in a garage, somebody has to know how to get into that garage in case they're not home. But that is one things that you need to seriously consider is where your staging area will be. Think about how far people are going to have to walk. Think about the people who will respond and what age they are and what their capabilities are and different things like that. So something to talk about, and decide where your staging area and where you're going to store your kit can be. So in our Lighthouse ward, we had 3 different zones so we could start just assessing quicker. You can do that, or you can just do one and just have, everybody come to one place. It's totally up to you. This plan is a plan. It's not a written in stone plan. It can be tweaked and it can be enhanced and done differently. We're just really encouraging it because it's a great way to have a plan, and then it can kind of just sit till a disaster happens, because all the information is right in the kit and right in the binder, and any volunteer can open up that binder and read it and follow what needs to be done, and the volunteers show up to the meeting area and it can happen. So there can be all the information you need right in that kit, and it doesn't have to be revamped or have somebody else be called or whatever, just like that the original block captain plan was. So The other thing I need you to think about is how you are going to communicate with your leadership. So you'll be able to communicate within your ward quite easily, even if you don't have texting capability. And remember that calling clogs up the cell and phone lines, but texting is a better way to communicate in a disaster. So there's always that. But in the church guidelines, it encourages amateur radio use in the communications portion, because that is one of the most important parts of your communication or your plan, is how you're going to communicate. So those are some things that you need to consider and talk about before you actually do the plan, because you're going to have to know ahead how you're going to do those things. So what TCEM will provide? So as I said before, we will help with the mapping. And then next time I'm going to help with the merging the addresses. We will supply all the supplies for the binder, the tote for the kit, the forms printed, all the forms and papers needed for the exercise, and I'll talk about that in a minute, and continued support to succeed in developing your RDAP kit. So this really makes sense for Tooele County Emergency Management, because when people are looking out for people and have a plan and a way to communicate in place, it just makes recovery so much easier. So you guys just had a big monsoon storm where tons of houses got just flooded, and there's mud in some people's houses and water and just a mess, right? So this is a great opportunity to take this latest disaster and say, we want to be a better neighborhood and better communicate and know who needs the help and how we can help. Because I was on Facebook and there were people on Facebook saying, can somebody please help my neighbor downstairs? I can't because I have a bad back and he is old and can't shovel out all the mud. You know, how great would it be to already know that, to know who it is that's there, not just the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but everybody. We are all part of a community and a neighborhood, and disasters will either bring a neighborhood together or kind of tear it apart because people aren't helping each other. But this is a great opportunity to get to know your neighborhood and know where the help is needed. So we will continue to help you, and we have all the forms and the quick cards and the flow charts and everything that will be able to make it as simple as possible. You just have to put it together. So we will help you with all of the stuff that goes in it, but you have to put it all together, which isn't going to be too hard once you have all the stuff. But it just takes some time, so that's why we're like pushing this really hard right now. So the exercise, we for this year, it's the 20th year of the commemoration of 9/11 in 2001. So usually September 11th is also a day of service. So Tooele County Emergency Management felt it appropriate that we kind of use this day as a day of preparedness and a day of service and a day of getting to know your neighbors so that you can help your neighbors. So the exercise that we are planning will be from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. for whoever wants to do it. We're not making anybody do it, but I would say practicing and going through the motions and finding those gaps are worth every minute, because they will help you recover and respond so much better when something actually does happen. So this, for the exercise, instead of reporting damage, we're going to use the assessment forms that will gather information about people's phone numbers and their email addresses to be able to be put into Tooele alerts, which is the notification system for Tooele County Emergency Management. And that's our way of connecting to people to let them know of emergencies. You know how the sirens go off every Wednesday at 4? Well, now most of the county can't even hear those sirens because we've just exploded in our population. And so the Tooele Alerts is a more up-to-date way to be able to contact people if needed for evacuations, for road closures, for weather, for just different things, but it has to be an opt-in type thing. So for this exercise, we're asking people in your RDAP that you go to people's houses, that you share the resources that Tooele County Emergency Management has, and ask them if they want to sign up for Tooele Alerts, and then they'd be already in the system, and then they wouldn't have to worry. But also to share all the great resources that Tooele County Emergency Management has, because we have an app, we have a website, we have the volunteer program, and the opportunity to learn more about preparedness and also to become trained. So we have a lot that we want to share with the community, and this will be a great way to let people know about Tooele County Emergency Management, because a lot of people don't even know that we are here. So this is a great opportunity. So we'll have the forms and the handouts. We'll have the script of what you are going to say. In all the forms, they will have our Tooele County Emergency Management logo on it. So people will know that it is through Tooele County Emergency Management that you are doing this plan and this exercise. So the week before, Tooele County Emergency Management will spread the word through social media, through the newspaper, and also we will get you flyers that you can hand out the week before in your neighborhood to let them know that your neighborhood is participating in this event. And then we are asking all the stakes to communicate with Tooele County Emergency Management through amateur radio and also through the High Counselor or Stake Presidency conference call. So most of them know that number, but we want to practice our emergency communications. And those are the two communications that we have with the stakes, so that we can know how to help them and how they can help emergency management also, because often the stakes and the wards have great volunteers. So that's the part of the exercise, or that's the exercise for the 11th. And as I said, you don't have to do it. It's not imperative, like you have to do it if you're going to get help from Tooele County Emergency Management. No, we will help you get your plans and set them up. If you really feel like you don't want to do the exercise, that's fine. We still want you to finish up your plan. So we're making the forms for the exercise to be used for the exercise, so you don't have to use your forms for the for a disaster for the exercise. So don't worry about that. We will supply everything. We just need your help to make your neighborhood plan. So for those of you who don't know, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.org website is a great resource. You'll find on it the emergency planning guide and worksheets for ward and state preparedness people. There's temporal preparedness resources, and also the area temporal preparedness guide for Utah. You can look at the other preparedness guides that were made, but holy cow, lots of resources, a lot of great information. I would say for sure do the ward and state planning guide because it tells you the things that you need to do and what you need to look for. One of the things it says is to work with your local agencies. And that's exactly what we are, is a local agency who works with Red Cross, and we work with the VOAD, the Voluntary Organizations Active in Disasters. We have our Tooele response group, so the local people know how to respond to the disasters. So great resources on the church website, great resources on our Tooele Ready site. So there's the information about the Tooele Ready, Tooele Alerts, and Tooele Responds on the Tooele Ready website. Then there's the Tooele County Emergency Management website, and on there you can find flooding information that we just barely had. You can also find how to report damage. And this is a great resource for anybody to be able to report, even after, like if somebody still, after the flood, finds something that they have damage to, they still need to contact their insurance agent, but when they report it to Tooele County Emergency Management, it actually helps us mitigate and plan and know how to help our community. Even though it's not, we can't just always go in and muck everything out. We can find resources that could help if it was a major incident. And we have connections with different agencies and different organizations. And so TCEM.org is a great resource to go to too. So Ashley, are you here? I'm going to turn the time over to you, Ashley, and to tell about the mapping and how to sign up for help with the mapping for the RDAP. Are you? Let me shut off my screen.
I'm here. Can everyone hear me okay? Robin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Do you want me to shut off my screen or?
Yeah, is there a way I could share my screen possibly?
Yes. Yep, let me make you the presenter. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna turn on my camera for you guys just because so you guys can kind of see who I am and who you're gonna be working with. Okay. Let me see.
Did it work?
Yeah, give me one. Give me 1 second. Let me try to see. One second. It's been a little stubborn.
I can understand.
Okay. Maybe it won't let me.
That's weird. Because I made you the presenter, so it should.
Oh, it's saying I have to restart it, so I have to exit
screen.
and then join back.
Oh.
Okay, well, I will show you guys an example. I kind of have messed around with the mapping preferences and with my ward boundaries. So maybe next Thursday, I'll figure out how to share my screen and kind of show you guys kind of an idea of the mapping system we're using to incorporate this whole system together, since that's one of the biggest parts is the map. And what's so great about the mapping is how Robin mentioned that we have access to the addresses. So on our mapping system, we're able to almost like draw out the blocks already and kind of set like different lines and figures I really wish I could just share this with you guys. It'd be so much.
I know, I wonder why it's not. Are you down at the bottom where it says screen?
Share screen.
You hit that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
I did.
not?
Anyway, I will work on that and share with you guys next meeting, kind of a picture of what mine is, because it's similar to Robin's, the pictures that she was showing you, but it's a little different just because of the different system we're using. So a way that we're gonna kind of do this and kind of make it easier for you guys is we're giving you guys the access to me, which I have access to the county mapping and websites and these different programs to make it easier to print off the maps, your ward boundary maps, and then separate those into zones for your different blocks. Well, however your ward or your boundaries decide to do it. If you just want to do blocks or zones, whatever is easier for you guys. So how we are doing that, there is a Sign Up Genius. We're using Sign Up Genius to set up appointments with me at the TCEM building. So when you go and sign up, it'll give you all of that information. It'll give you the room number I am in, which is 103, and then it also gives you the address of the TCEM building, which if you don't know, it's 15th South or 15th East, 100 South. So we're at that building and I'm in room 103. The building is always locked 24/7. So I will be looking for those who have scheduled meetings with me to unlock the door when you guys get there, or to come open the door for you to come meet with me. And then during that meeting, what we'll be doing is just going over your ward boundaries, and then how you guys want to split up your blocks or your zones. And then you guys are just going to refer that information to me, and I'm just going to do it on the computer. So it'd be a lot easier if you guys, like Robin had said, come prepared with your ward boundaries already, because I do not have access to any of that. I only have access to the Tooele County mapping, but I have no idea what ward you're in, what boundaries you guys have, how you guys want to separate it to make it easier for your guys' wards or whoever is going out to check on the neighbors. So mainly if you guys could just come with it doesn't even have to be printed out. If you just have notes of, okay, my ward boundaries, for example, mine is from 7th Street to Vine Street, down Broadway, all the way to the Pine Canyon ward almost. So my ward is kind of just that blocked boundary. If you guys can just know like the points, the square points of where your boundaries are at, we can look it up on the map and just pinpoint it and then go from there. And then once we get all the mapping situated and that done, we have access to print it out. So usually we can't with other programs. That was one of our biggest problems, having access to the addresses, showing the addresses, and then printing them out because of different programs had the names on them and just different privacy things. So the program we'll be using now, it just shows address points. So it doesn't matter who lives there since the addresses will always stay the same. I really wish I could show you guys this picture, just make it so much easier.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's not working.
No, it is all good. I'll figure it out later once we're done with this and see what I can do. So mainly you guys are meeting with me to get your mapping done, and that's one of the biggest things with this whole program. So I think I have the link that I can send out in an email or put it in the chat. I think Robin, you have the link as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and so Robin has it as well, so you can contact Robin to get that link for the Sign Up Genius to sign up with different meetings with me. And I know that link was also sent out in a meeting or an email already from Becky, which is another contact for the program. Mm-hmm. So right now, most of the meetings I have appointments open Monday through Friday, starting at 8 a.m. and ending at 4 p.m. So each meeting will be about an hour to kind of go over it. And depending how the meeting goes, we can set up more than one appointment, just with questions or anything that you guys need help with. Most likely, I think we should be able to get most of it done in that 1 hour to maybe 2 hours, so might be 2 meetings. I know that most people are working in the day as well, so right now I'm taking 25 credits for a summer quarter, so my schedule is kind of really inconsistent. So I'm trying to, well, all of the appointments that are set up right now are open for you guys. I will be at the office from morning to dawn, just doing those meetings. Right now, I am trying to work in different appointments at night, starting at 4 to 8 p.m., depending what works for you guys. If there is any specific time that isn't an appointment that you can sign up for, but that works better for you guys, go ahead and shoot me an email, and we can work it out, and we'll get something to help you guys get in there and get your maps done, because it's something that as Tooele County and especially TCEM, we're so excited to be able to help provide all the resources for this amazing program, and we're excited to see how beneficial it's going to be in Tooele County, especially after all the flooding and how crazy that was with just even sandbags. We think that this program is really going to benefit us. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. My email is in all my information is in the paperwork that Robin sent out and Becky sent out. I'll also put it in the chat, my phone number and my email, and I will copy and paste the link into the chat once I'm done so that you guys can have it right there, easy access to it. Other than that, does anyone have any other questions kind of on the mapping?
So as far as because I went to the Tooele County office today, and they were saying that would cost like $5 per day to be able to use their program for the maps. Is there any cost associated with getting the maps here, or?
No, it is not. So that is something that TCEM is doing for you guys. We are providing everything at cost free. So we'll provide the kits. We're printing everything out for you guys. So there will be no cost to you guys. We're printing everything out for us. So TCEM is taking care of all the charges and fees necessary for these kits, all the binders, all the kits, everything.
Okay, well, that sounds great. I'm part of the Overlake 3rd Ward as far as the emergency response. I'm also a part of the West Desert Amateur Radio Club. So if I need assistance, or if you need assistance that way, as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so like I said, there is no extra charge for any of the printing or the kits. That was one thing that we found what was stopping some of the wards to doing it or to getting themselves involved in the program. So TCEM is taking care of it all. You guys just need to worry about the communication between you guys and your wards, and then communicating with us at TCEM to get your mapping and kits done. Which there's appointments set up with me, and then there's appointments set up with Robin every Thursday at 7, like how we are tonight. There's one every Thursday to kind of get going. But other
Awesome.
than
Thanks, Ashley. You're awesome.
yep,
So,
there you go. I'm gonna try to work on why my screen wouldn't share, and then maybe if it works by the time we're done, I'll kind of show an example of the new system. If not, then I'll just share it next week if that works.
okay, yeah.
Okay,
or we
perfect.
can make a little separate little training too,
Okay.
if we wanted to put it on the website. Okay. So down here at the bottom, you can see the Sign Up Genius website that you can go to sign up with Ashley. And she's putting it in the chat. I will have it in the document that I'm sending out. And here is all of our information, our email addresses. So Roland Smith has done the RDAP for his ward, so he is a great resource for those of you who want. He said he'd be willing to help people. I've done it for my ward, and Ashley's doing the mapping, and Becky is our Tooele County Emergency Management supplies person, because she's in charge of all that. So for like printing the forms and everything, that's what you'll need to get a hold of Becky. And I'll talk more about that next time, but I wanted everybody to really focus on getting your map, even a basic map like I'd really like it to have lots so that you could have your boundaries of your blocks done too, because then that 1 hour will go real quick with Ashley. But if you can't, at least have the boundary of your ward and then have an idea of where your blocks will be. So one of the things I want you to think about as you're making those blocks, think about how the streets, the people on the streets already communicate and how they work together. And that might help in making it a little easier to respond. I want to show real quick the blocks that I made here. You see there's one going up one side of the street and then down the other side of the street, so it's really compacted and not just one long block. So it's 10 to 12 houses per block, and makes it as easy as possible to just go from one house over to the next, and then across the street over to the next, to the next, to the next, and then to your staging area to report. Because remember, this is all about rapid assessment. And we need to know where the help is needed really as soon as we can, and then help where the help is needed. Excuse me. So as you're thinking about your blocks and your maps, kind of be thinking about those things, okay? It's not really hard. Sometimes ward councils want to make them, but I would say one person can do it pretty easy in one night. And then just come to Ashley and make the maps, and she can print them. That's the thing that she talked about before. The printing those lot maps was difficult. Like you said, the county was going to charge you. So we're taking it on. Tooele County Emergency Management is taking on that cost, and we are providing all of the materials. So please spread the word to all your wards and other stakes in Tooele County, because we want to give this opportunity to as many wards and stakes as possible, because this really helps you and it helps Tooele County Emergency Management, because it's a way to get a bigger picture. Because emergency management is kind of like an eagle, and they're up above and they can see the big things, but sometimes they don't know where the other big things are until they're reported. So that's where this rapid disaster assessment plan comes into play, and it's been done before, and other towns have adopted this too. So I would say take advantage of all this opportunity that Tooele County Emergency Management is giving, and share. Okay, any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Make sure that you email me so that I can send you the document with all the new links. So there's going to be, even though we have trainings and stuff, we're going to have some new links probably the next little bit. So I want you to make sure that you get them. So please email me so I can email you the next documents that we're doing, and that you get all the information, because so the next training will be next Thursday at 7, just like tonight. Only we're going to be talking about the forms, what each of the forms do, and how you can merge your addresses from your blocks into those forms. And also what you need to do to go get those forms printed, because some of them are going to be personalized and some of them are just everybody's going to have the same form. And they all have Tooele County Emergency Management's logo on them. So please, there's my email address. Please email me and let me know you were here tonight and that you need the next documents. And I'm hoping that you all, excuse me, I'm hoping that you all watched the original RDAP video. If you haven't, please go to our Tooele County Emergency Management YouTube channel and watch it. If you have any questions, if you need help explaining to anybody, please let me know, because we want to make this successful for you. It's really doable, but you do have to do some things like make your map and get those forms made. But other than that, we're buying all the stuff for you and helping you with your mapping, which has always been a tricky thing, but it's doable. So I hope you take advantage of all this. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm trying to make it as simple and easy for you to be able to do. I know everybody is busy, but this will help your neighborhood. So let me know if you have any questions. So please work on your map this week and then come next week for our form merging information. Thank you so much. If there's no questions, I'll see you next Thursday.